Chapter 8: The Shadowed Stage. Vivien Leigh's early battles with bipolar disorder, 1947 to 1950. Vivien Leigh, the incandescent beauty who captivated audiences as Scarlett O'Hara and Blanche DuBois, live a life of dazzling success interwoven with a deeply personal struggle against mental illness. While her talent shone brightly on stage and screen, she battled a debilitating and poorly understood condition, bipolar disorder. In this chapter, we'll delve into the challenging period between 1947 and 1950, examining the nascent signs of her mental health struggles, the hurdles she faced in receiving appropriate diagnosis and treatment, and the impact these challenges had on her life and career. The late 1940s marked a turning point for Leigh. World War II had taken its toll on everyone, including the actress. The constant pressure of maintaining her image, the demands of her career, and the stresses within her marriage to Laurence Olivier began to chip away at her seemingly impenetrable facade. While outwardly appearing as a glamorous and accomplished star, inwardly, Leigh was beginning to experience the tumultuous swings in mood and behavior that would define her battle with bipolar disorder. One of the primary challenges in understanding Leigh's early struggles is attributable to the limited knowledge and understanding of mental illness during that era. Bipolar disorder, then often referred to as manic depression, was poorly defined and even more poorly treated. Diagnosis relied heavily on subjective observation and lacked the sophisticated diagnostic tools and understanding of neurochemistry that exist today. This lack of understanding contributed to misdiagnosis, delayed treatment, and a general stigma surrounding mental health that often led sufferers to hide their symptoms. The earliest signs of Leigh's cycling moods began to manifest in subtle ways. Her close friends and family, particularly Olivier, started noticing periods of intense energy and creativity, often coupled with impulsivity and restlessness. During these manic phases, Leigh would throw herself into her work with an almost frenzied passion, taking on multiple projects simultaneously and sleeping very little. She was described as being incredibly charming, witty, and full of life during these times. However, this manic energy was often followed by periods of profound depression. These depressive episodes left her withdrawn, despondent, and plagued by feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness. She would lose interest in her work, isolate herself from loved ones, and struggle to even get out of bed. The contrast between these manic and depressive phases was stark and unsettling. However, in an era where mental health was relegated to whispers and hushed tones, these fluctuations were often dismissed as moodiness, temperamentality, or the inevitable pressure of fame. The expectation for women of that era to be emotionally stable and compliant added another layer of difficulty. Leigh, who was a strong-willed and ambitious actress, was often labeled as difficult or hysterical when her behavior deviated from societal norms. Adding to the complexity was the nature of Leigh's profession. The demands of acting, the pressure to perform, and the constant scrutiny of the public eye could easily exacerbate the symptoms of bipolar disorder. The emotional roller coaster of playing different characters, the long hours, and the travel required for film and theater productions created a volatile environment that destabilized her already fragile mental state. Olivier, initially understanding and supportive, struggled to cope with the unpredictable nature of Leigh's condition. He was dedicated to her and understood the pressure she faced, but he lacked the knowledge and resources to effectively help her. He became increasingly frustrated by her mood swings, often finding himself walking on eggshells, unsure of how to react to her manic or depressive episodes. The strain on their marriage was undeniable. The treatment options available to Leigh during this period were limited and often ineffective. Psychotherapy was still in its infancy, and while she did seek consultations with psychiatrists, the interventions were often based on rudimentary principles. Electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, a highly controversial treatment, even today, was sometimes used in severe cases of depression. While ECT could provide temporary relief, it also carried significant side effects, including memory loss and cognitive impairment. The use of ECT highlights the desperate search for solutions in a time of limited understanding. It also underscores the risk of over-medicalization of mental illness, treating symptoms without addressing the underlying causes or providing the necessary support and understanding. The lack of effective medication further compounded the problem. Lithium, now a common treatment for bipolar disorder, was not introduced until the late 1940s, and its clinical application was still in its early stages. Other medications available during that era were primarily sedatives and tranquilizers, which could provide temporary relief from anxiety and agitation, but did little to address the underlying mood instability. The absence of a clear diagnosis and effective treatment strategies had a profound impact on Leigh's career. Periods of mania could fuel her creativity and drive her to deliver exceptional performances. However, the subsequent depressive episodes often left her unable to work, forcing her to withdraw from productions and jeopardizing her professional reputation. The inconsistency in her behavior led to rumors and speculation within the industry, further isolating her and increasing her anxiety. One particularly devastating example of this was her withdrawal from the 1948 film Anna Karenina. While the official reason given was illness, it is widely believed that her mental health played a significant role. The pressure of portraying such an emotionally complex character, coupled with the ongoing turmoil in her personal life, proved too much for her to bear. The years 1947 to 1950 were a period of immense struggle and uncertainty for Vivien Leigh. She faced the early signs of bipolar disorder with limited understanding, inadequate treatment options, and the pervasive stigma of mental illness. Her story serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by individuals with mental health conditions in an era when such conditions were poorly understood and often dismissed. While her talent and beauty captivated the world, behind the shimmering façade lay a battle against a silent and debilitating illness that would continue to shape her life and legacy for years to come. Understanding this period is crucial to appreciating the full complexity of Vivien Leigh's life, acknowledging the burden she carried, and recognizing the progress that has been made in the diagnosis and treatment of bipolar disorder, while acknowledging the ongoing need for compassion and understanding.